The Economic and Organized Crimes officers arrested 10 members of a baby harvesting and trafficking syndicate in the Greater Accra region that stole babies from their mothers at hospitals and sold them. In a joint operation with the Medical and Dental Council, IOCO picked up doctors, nurses, social workers and traditional birth attendants who operated in various hospitals in the Greater Accra region where they traded babies using a highly sophisticated modus operandi. Joynews' Manuel Kranting was embedded in one of such operations to arrest a member of the syndicate at the Tema General Hospital last month.
It's 7 a.m. on the morning of 31st December 2020, the last day of the year. As many people prepared to bid farewell to one year and welcome another, somewhere at the Tema General Hospital within the Tema metropolis, a baby was about seeing the last of his biological mother. In motion on that fateful day was a sale of a 1-month-old baby boy by an organized baby selling cartel. This syndicate is made up of several people, including doctors, nurses, and social welfare officers, among others, all of whom are entrusted with the responsibility of providing assistance to mothers and their newly born babies. Their operations had been on the radar of the Medical and Dental Council for a while, and today the council has teamed up with the officers from Economic and Organized Crime Office (IOCO) to foil one of such illegal transactions. The Connect, Leonard Able, an officer at the head office of the Department of Social Welfare, had already taken 10,000 Ghana cedis as a deposit for the baby, who he was selling at 28,000 Ghana cedis from a woman in need of a baby, not knowing she was an undercover officer with IOCO. The Joynews team was embedded in the operation and filmed from a distance as Mr. Able went to collect the baby and accompanied the female undercover officer to a vehicle. This was the point of arrest. Leonard Able was arrested and the baby retrieved. On-site interrogations revealed Mr. Able was not alone. His accomplices, a nurse only identified as Nancy, and the head of the social welfare at the hospital, also referred to as Auntie Doris, had heard of the arrest and immediately bolted.
I've called her several times, but she's not picking up, so I keep on calling. I don't know what to do.
What is her name? What is her surname? There's a woman who left in the car, in a taxi.
She left in a taxi?
Yes. They gave money that I should go and pay them.
Okay, so what's the evidence that you paid?
Oh, so the woman said that.
Which woman?
Nancy said that she had done adoption before. And she said that she had somebody, she has a baby, an abandoned baby here. Doris said she had an abandoned baby here. You get me? So I should assist her in the baby is there. Somebody, if we have somebody.
Not even a call from the medical director of the facility could get them to return.
Can you come right away to my office? Tema General Hospital, Director's office. Yes. 1 hour's time.
The entire morning went by with the arrested suspect pleading for mercy as he sent the team on a wild goose chase from one facility to the other in search of his other accomplices.
Yes, but the way my name, my this thing, I beg you. Help me, I beg you.
Yes. So
help me.
I'm asking.
Can you go help me?
They give you money. They give you money. Did you take any money?
They gave money that I should go and pay them.
Okay.
The day ended with one arrest as the task force worked other leads to effect more arrests. For Joynews, Manuel.
Executive Director of IOCO, Frank Edupoku, addressed a news conference on the activities of the syndicate which sold the babies for between 28 and 30,000 cedis.
On Thursday, December 31st, 2020, Dr. Hope Mensah Kwashi who works with the 37 Military Hospital, was arrested at his private health facility named Susan Clinic, located at Atabi Okoshi, a suburb of Accra. He was alleged to have sold the first baby boy to the team for an amount of 30,000 Ghana cedis in October 2020. And Dr. Mensah Kwashi was arrested with 3 nurses who worked at his facility. And the nurses are Sylvia Awuse, John Adole Efi, and Angelina Ametepe. They have been identified as his accomplices, together with one Dede Gifty Anipi, a traditional birth attendant at Bethlehem Maternity Home at Santo, a suburb of Pong Katamanso. Dr. Noah Kofi Latte, who works at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, popularly known as Regional Hospital, and he operates a private hospital called Dangbe Community Hospital, was also arrested in a separate operation on Tuesday, January 5, 2021. The mother of the second baby was arrested on 19th January 2020, pending further investigations. Both babies sold by the suspects and bought by the investigators are currently in safe custody and being properly taken care of, pending further investigations. The council, that's the Medical and Dental Council, and YOCO, assured the public that the 2 agencies will continue to collaborate to protect public health and safety by preventing and detecting organized crime.
Meanwhile, Acting Registrar of the Medical and Dental Council, Dr. Divine Bayungbala, says the licenses of the doctors involved will be suspended as investigations continue.
Our actions are rooted in the mandate we have given. And like as I indicated, once you have been arrested and you are being investigated for serious offenses of this nature, in the public interest, in the professional interest, and in the interest of society in ensuring that miscreants or criminals do not masquerade as members of the noble, honorable, or learned profession of medicine, we will withhold certain parts of your practices until a court of competent decision determines your fate. If it is negative, it may satisfy, even though you may not have met the criminal requirements, you may actually be subject to professional inquiry through the due process. Or if you have been convicted and sentenced, then you are also liable to disciplinary proceedings. So either way, the council's mandate is fully engaged, and as you can see, we have shown 100% commitment to ensuring that we work together to rid our profession, our healthcare system, of all miscreants, so that we can continue to comfortably engage the services of these professionals, give our lives to them in the confidence and the trust that they are persons of high integrity.
The Supreme Court has set January 26 to commence hearing of a substantive case contained in the 2020 election petition filed by the NDC's John Mahama. The former president's lawyers, however, say this directive by the court is problematic because there are various applications before the justices that remain outstanding. Mr. Mahama is in the Apex Court seeking to annul the results of the 2020 elections, which went in favor of the NPP's Nana Akufo-Addo. Court correspondent Joseph Akable sat through proceedings on Wednesday as the court affirmed its commitment to completing the petition within 42 days.
The Apex Court has settled on 5 questions it believes goes to the heart of this election petition. They have to do with 1, whether or not the petition discloses any reasonable course of action. 2, whether or not, per the data available, any candidate obtained more than 50% of the vote cast. 3. Whether or not the second respondent obtained more than 50% of the votes cast by the exclusion or inclusion of Techiman South constituency results, whether or not the declaration was in violation of the Constitution, and finally, whether or not the alleged vote pardon affected the results as declared. The court then proceeded to issue some orders about how the trial should proceed.
The registrar shall ensure service of the submissions of the preliminary objections by the close of the day on Friday, the 22nd of January 2021. C. The petitioner shall file any response to the submission of the preliminary objection by noon on Monday, the 25th of January 2021. D. The registrar shall ensure service of the petitioner's response by the close of the day on Monday, the 25th of January 2021. E. Ruling on the preliminary objection will be incorporated in the judgment of the court. Timelines. The court shall sit on Tuesday, the 26th of January 2021 for hearing of this petition.
Lawyers for the petitioner, however, had some concerns about the timelines that were announced by the court. Lead counsel Chachuchi Kata addressed the court on that issue.
I do know about the schedule provided, but I also know that your lordships are here to administer justice, and that justice must not be sacrificed for expedition.
President Akufo-Addo's legal team, however, says it all forms part of approaches or moves to delay the court. Frank Davis is a member of the legal team.
Of course, expedition is justice. You don't come to court with a set of rules and you want to circumvent and obviate the rules by your own careless abandon. How do you come to court with a petition and you don't know that you have to file a witness statement? You don't know that you have to settle a memorandum of issues?
Mr. Mohammed's lawyers, however, disagree. Marietta Buapia-Opon addressed the media.
Please note that under the rules, the schedule, there's 5 days for pre-trial. Today is the second day.
So what's the rush for?
So what is the rush? Today is the second day for pre-trial.
The case is back in court on Tuesday, 26th of January 2021. Reporting for Joynews on the Supreme Court, my name is Joseph Akable.
In other news, the MPP caucus in Parliament is accusing the NDC caucus of attempting to frustrate government business in the House. The MPs also accused their NDC colleagues of trying to compromise the Speaker's impartiality. Addressing a media briefing in Parliament House, Deputy Leader of the MPP caucus, Alexander Afenyomarkin, questioned why the NDC is shielding a Sing North MP, James Kwesing, to continue doing business in the House despite a court injunction on him.
Of our colleagues is compelling enough, and if we do not point these things out now, it may affect the future conduct of business in the House. We've gone through an election. The result as produced by the people of Ghana is respected by all of us. Parliament survives on consensus. Parliament survives on give and take. But it shouldn't be a situation where, as Mr. Speaker put it, an obstructionist agenda. We say it here and now, that our colleagues have an obstructionist agenda, and same must be condemned, for want of a better word, and they must change their posture. They must not be seen as acting as though nothing about governance matter. This has been their language. The NDC is full of mischief, and what they want to do is to ambush Parliament, frustrate governance in this critical period. COVID-19. We never anticipated it. Salaries must be paid. Budget must run through. Ministers are needed to run government business. They are part of the governance of this country. So if this is the approach they want to adopt, that you either give it to me or I frustrate you, that is their language. This is not democracy. This is not patriotism. So to go with this path would mean to create a meltdown situation.
Still in Parliament, leader of the MPP caucus, Oseche Mensah-Bonsu, is accusing Speaker Alban Bagbin of making a U-turn on the selection of MPs onto the appointment committee. The committee has 13 representatives each from the NDC and NPP. The NPP has argued the chairman of the committee, Joe Osei-Owusu, should not be counted as a member and therefore want that representation from the rest of the 25 members reworked to reflect the 50-50 representation in the House.
See, the Speaker, where there is unclarity or ambiguity by our standing orders, is required to interpret the orders as he deems fit or appropriate. And that is Order 5. It says, in case of doubt, these orders shall be interpreted by Mr. Speaker as he deems fit. In all cases not provided for in these orders, Mr. Speaker shall make provision as he deems fit. That is Order 6, 5 and 6. Now where there's a clear provision for the role of a chairman, where is this coming from that the Speaker must be counted? Especially when we had met in conclave and the Speaker himself had admitted that when Deputy Speakers sit as chairs of committees, they sit in my stead as the Speaker. That is what he has said to us when we met. So why do you make this sudden U-turn again? And by that implication, it meant that the first Deputy Speaker, as the chairman of the appointment committee, should not be counted as the number.
Staying in Parliament, the NPP caucus is opposing a motion by Boku Central MP Mama Yariga seeking that the House causes the President to suspend payment of admission fees by tertiary students. The motion, the NPP MP say, is incompetent and flawed. Ms. Yariga wants Parliament to take into consideration the suffering of Ghanaians as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. But NPP Chief Whip Frank Anodon says the motion is incompetent. We're joined now via Zoom by Parliamentary correspondent Joseph Opoku-Gakpo with the very latest on how this all panned out. Hello, Joseph. So how was this concluded in the House?
There was never a conclusion to it because even before the motion could be debated, there was a move by the NPP side to get the motion arrested. That's then resulted in a debate that lasted for about 2 hours, and a number of arguments were put out by the NPP side. They, for example, said that when it comes to the academic fees, this is something that Parliament approved through its fees and charges that came from the various universities. So if a suspension of that has to happen, it doesn't have to take the precedent. Parliament needs to get that done on its own. That was one of the things that they pushed strongly and insisted that it shouldn't come with a presidential intervention, as had been requested for in Mr. Yariga's motion. Another argument that they pushed very strongly had to do with the fact that the said motion was out of place and wasn't the clear definition of what admission fee was had not been properly determined. After the long back and forth debate, eventually the Speaker ruled that the initial objection had been rejected, but he asked Mr. Yariga to amend his motion, then say that government is absorbing the fee in question. And even after that was done, then the Speaker said that he would adjourn further debate on the issue to tomorrow so they deal with the real substance. And his decision on the ruling will then be made available to both sides in terms of how can we rule that they can go ahead with the debate despite the initial objection by the NPP.
All right, thank you very much, Joseph Opoku-Gakpo, bringing us that update from Parliament. You're watching Joynews Prime. We're taking a break. We'll be back with more in a bit. Do stay tuned. Now, 72 hours after the President directed the IGP to deploy men to enforce the COVID-19 safety protocols, there seems to be no sign of implementation, as popular markets and lorry stations in Accra are yet to see the full enforcement of the directive, even though some 97 people were arrested Tuesday. Joynews was in the vicinity of the Kwame Nkrumah interchange earlier today.
So it's a bustling morning here at the Kwame Nkrumah interchange, popularly referred to as Circle. A number of people, students, parents, and workers alike, going about their normal duties. You could see a number of students about to pick vehicles to their various schools across the capital. Parents are also, some of them, sending their kids to school. And then workers also going about their normal duties. Of course, just as is very popular with Circle, you would see a number of hawkers as well as traders selling their wares or displaying them just by the street. But one thing that has become topical subject of national conversation is the issue of wearing of face masks, as well as the adherence to the COVID-19 protocols that the government has put in place to limit or stop the spread of COVID-19. And so in the president's 22nd address, he said that he has given the police the authorization to go about and arrest people who do not adhere to the COVID-19 protocols, wear their mask and adhere to social distancing. Yesterday, the police arrested a number of people here in Accra because they were not wearing their face masks. Please, what's your name?
Maud.
Maud. So Maud, the president has said that he's giving the police, the right to arrest people who are not wearing their face masks. This morning you are not wearing your face mask. So you have it in your bag, eh? All right, so you have to put it on, okay? But should the police meet you and arrest you, are you going to be able to pay the 12,000 cedis fine that they say? 12,000 cedis. You can't pay that?
No.
Right, so you put on your mask, okay? All right, Maud, thank you. So, Maud, not wearing her face mask, but she has it in her bag. But she's going to put it on, and the idea that she has to cover that up. Hello, we are trying to gauge some people. Can I have a brief word with you, please? Yeah. Yes, so in terms of the wearing of face mask and all, the president says you are going to arrest people and charge them, fine them and all. Do you think this will be a deterrent enough for those who are not wearing their masks?
Because most Ghanaians don't like to do these things on their own, unless they are forced to. You see, I was watching news this morning, I saw Kaswa Market. Almost all of them are not wearing nose masks. So imagine if the police are there, I'm sure that they'll wear it.
So why do you think people are not wearing a mask? Because there are people, some of them have their mask is in their pocket or is in their bag. What at all is accounting for this?
Do not believe that the thing is real. Some people think it's just a way that people are using to just frighten them. So they don't believe in it. You see, so if somebody doesn't believe in something, it's very hard for you to enforce this thing on them. See, if they believe in it, you don't even have to bring the police in. They'll be doing it of their own will. But because they don't believe, imagine you say somebody will buy the mask and put it in his pocket. It doesn't make sense. Why do you buy a mask and put it in your pocket? It's supposed to be worn, not in your pocket.
So just like you said, some people do not believe at all that the corona is around. Yes. Personally, do you know anybody that has contracted the virus around you at work or anything for that?
Yeah, I know some of my workers were infected with the virus, but fortunately none of them died. But they were isolated for some time. So I believe in it.
I'm grateful, sir.
I even have about 2 or 3 in my. Right. Thank you.
I'm grateful. So, this gentleman here giving us some perspectives to this, saying that some people don't believe in the virus, and that is why they are not wearing the face mask. The president is saying that if they get you and you're not wearing the face mask, the police should arrest you and all. Do you think this will work on the people and it will force them to wear the mask and all?
But your life is your own. It is in your hand. The president said that you should wear the face mask. Why you say that? Because of the COVID-19. Like it don't be COVID-19, no go mandate that everybody should wear the COVID-19. I think everybody must wear it.
Yeah, so why do you think people are not wearing it? There are people sometimes they have it, they are not wearing it.
Even me myself sometimes I not wear it. But if we enter the place where I enter the public place, like the circle like this, I have to wear it because people are plenty. Somebody can call, somebody can do anything at any moment. So you have to prevent yourself. Yeah.
But you think that the arresting and prosecuting will deter people, it will force people to wear the mask, it will help?
No, better that you let the people should understand it. If the people understand it, then I don't think that they will force them.
I'm grateful.
All right, meanwhile, let's look at the very latest numbers on Ghana's COVID case count as shared by the Ghana Health Service. So as we have it, the 366 new cases reported January 16. So not today's figures, and it brings the active cases to 2,174. The confirmed cases, as in total confirmed cases from March till date, is 58,431. 6 new deaths have been reported, which takes the COVID-related deaths to 358. Now, elsewhere, 105 suspects have been rounded up by the Tema Region Police Command for non-compliance with government's directives on the wearing of face masks as a preventive measure against the spread of COVID-19. The arrest is a move by the police to enforce their directives on the observation of the COVID-19 protocols. The suspects, who were arrested going about their normal activities, regardless of their directives, were made up of 9 women and 96 men, with being aged between 17 to 64 years. Of the total number, 22 of them had no mask at all, while 83 had the mask in their possession, but just simply refused to wear them. Some of the suspects called friends and relatives to bring their mask while in police custody. All the suspects are currently being meticulously screened at the command, after which further action will be taken. We're taking a break here now to bring you business. Do stay tuned in.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Business. Government is being urged to desist from interfering with international airline operations. This follows British Airways' resolve to switch the London-Accra-London services from the Heathrow to Gatwick airports in summer of June. The airline has not been forthcoming on the reasons for its actions. However, the Aviation Ministry of Ghana opposes such an idea. Here's more in a particular statement that the Aviation Ministry issued out, after which Sean Mendes, the former CEO of Africa World Airlines, as well as an aviation expert, did comment on the situation, saying that any interference could send bad signals to prospective airliners in the future.
No, I won't necessarily say it's not a big deal. I think from a consumer perspective, it actually might be a positive for Ghanaian consumers. It's certainly a big deal for British Airways because they're making a very strategic move over here where they are shifting their focus for Ghana operations away from transit passengers, rather towards passengers between Ghana and the UK. And that's why I actually believe it could be a positive for Ghanaian travelers. Historically, British Airways traffic to and from Ghana has only been around 50% of that traffic at most, in fact some years it's been lower, have been traveling between Accra and London. The rest are transit passengers primarily to North America. BA has struggled to compete head-to-head in this Accra to London market, mainly because their price, the market is very price sensitive. A lot of passengers traveling, especially from the Ghana end and the Ghanaians in the UK, will choose the lowest price options. And BA has had an average fare in this market that's more than double the market average. So they've struggled there, and they've had a market share that is about 10% lower than you'd expect it to be, since they're the only non-stop operator. As a result, if they are able to move the service to Gatwick, there are significantly lower passenger taxes at Gatwick relative to Heathrow, so that's straight up a savings directly into the passenger's pocket.
Away from the Agribusiness Innovations and Technology Institute, AITI, in partnership with the Youth Sector Engagement Group, the Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs, as well as the Young Professional for Agricultural Development, has in the 6th National Business Plan expose young entrepreneurs to various business and funding ideas through its pitching competition. Here is more. These young entrepreneurs had the chance to pitch their business ideas to a panel of judges. If successful, these business minds will be supported with needed funding to take their businesses to the next level. Maureen Odoe is the CEO of the Agribusiness Innovations and Technology Institute of the Aurora Africa Business Network.
We will ask them to show us their hats. They have a red hat and a white hat. If you get a red hat, it means you've done extremely well. If you get a white hat, it means you've done very well, but you need some more advice. And that's how we'll capture it.
Sharif Ghali is the CEO of Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs. He tells Joy Business there is the need for young entrepreneurs like these ones to be aware of various government interventions and tax waivers.
One of the key things is that they're not being aware of some of the already opportunities available for them to be able to get to. That I, as a CEO, have taken some clues from there. That means that we need to do a lot of capacity building.
Meanwhile, some participants have been speaking to Joy Business.
It has been big. We learned a whole lot about business profiling, we learned about marketing strategies. We learned the big one was the business plan that they took us through. I indeed had a business plan, but what they took us through is a whole new level and a different level.
Our business pitch is to raise funds to really grow the business so that we can export to other countries and really develop our products by having it in different forms.
The objective of this program is to coach, mentor, and certify 28 young people who have received training towards building resilience, recovery, and growth under the C19 Business Solutions for Young Entrepreneurs program. And that'll be all for business for this segment. Sports is up next.
Thanks for staying with us. Still watching Joynews Prime Time to bring you the first installment of sports. My name is Hans Mensah Ando. Christopher Nett's first goal of the season helped Kumasi Asante Kotoko win the Ghana Premier League Match Day 7 outstanding game against Ebusia Dwarfs earlier today. The defender's second half goal settled the tie in favor of the Porcupine Warriors, who have now established themselves as title contenders after a poor start to the season. The win takes them to third on the table, just a point separating them and league leaders Karela United. Let's check out the current Ghana Premier League table. You can see that on your screens, and Karela, of course, on top with 17 points, 16 points for Asante Kotoko Bichim United, and Accra Hearts of Oak with 15 points. They are in 5th place. Great Olympics 6th with 14 points, also 14 points. Wafa in 7th place. Indiana Stars with 13 points, 8th on the league table, and Mediama 9th on the Ghana Premier League table. Elmina Sharks are 10th, 11th, Ebusia Dwarfs all with 11 points, and 11 Wonders, Liberty and Dreams in 12th, 13th and 14th position respectively, all on 10 points. And then there's Brekum Chelsea with 9 points, 15th, and Talai 16th on 7 points. King Faisal just 7 points from 9 matches, and Legon Cities, the billionaires of Ghana football, languishing at the bottom of the Ghana Premier League table, picking 6 points from 9 games. A former Ghana international Emmanuel Ajimanbedu wants Asante Kotoko to revive the under-20 team if they want to compete against the best locally and continentally. There's more in the following report.
The FIFA Under-20 World Cup winner had a stint with the Porcupines. He believed the revival of the Kotoko Under-20 side would be essential if Kotoko wants to recapture their heydays.
You see, I think we need to revive the Under-20 of Asante Kotoko. So, looking at where I'm from, I think we can get talent from those areas to revive the Under-20. Teams like Kotoko is like Real Madrid. You can't go for the Under-20 players, but you need to put some to gain experience and know the culture and the character of Kotoko, so that you'll be having a good team each and every year. And I think the CEO is one of my good friends, and he have a thought about this kind of things. But right now there's a lot of pressure on him. He needs to concentrate on the senior side, get the results, get some players to just fix in. But looking at where I'm coming from, I can go around the villages, get some.
Ajimanbedu, who recently retired from the senior national team, believes that it is quite early to tag Kotoko as title favourites, as the league is still young.
It's too early to say they can win the league. A new management, new players. We are having interim coach now, which we are not sure of what will happen tomorrow. You see, we are lacking 2 things in Kotoko now, even in general football. When a team is not playing well and they are scoring, there's some confidence that, okay, well, the team is not playing well, but we are getting the goals and we are getting the point. It's one thing. When the team is not scoring and they are playing well, then you can have confidence that, oh, you need to work on the attacking midfielders, the strikers, and everybody, so that when the goals start coming, you get both. Now we are lacking both. The team is not playing well and we are not scoring. The last time, when was the last time you saw or see Kotoko winning 2-0? It was against only Liberty for like a year, or I never see Kotoko winning 2-0, 1-0, 1-1. But I hope they will build on this 2-0 to gain the confidence back. Even if the game is not how we want it to flow, we need to start burying the goals. If the goals are not coming, we need to start playing well. But we are lacking right now.
Kotoko is the record champions of the Ghana Premier League, winning the competition 23 times.
That's it for this installment. There is more sports later in the bulletin.
All right, as promised, Becky Bex is here with Showbiz. Hello, Bex.
Hello to you, Easy. How you doing?
I'm well. How about you?
Great.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So we had an exclusive interview with DJ Vyroski.
Okay.
It's a new year. He's been talking about, his act, his profession, and he's been advising the young DJs to put some respect on their craft and also put some value on their craft because, when you value what you do, then people will value what you do and put some money on it. But Izzy, this is a very sad one. I'm not sure whether you've been following the Amma Bruni. She is slay queen.
I saw it on
twerking
Twitter.
for some $100. So the story actually is one musician called Original Shana.
All right.
He's a dancehall. He's an upcoming. He's well known inside Kaswa. So there was a carnival that he was built to perform. So during his performance, he was performing one song called You Will Draws. And so, as an artist, he decided to invite, few ladies upstage for $100. So if you're a lady out there and you can, twerk on my song, You Will Draws, I'll give you $100. So the slay queen decided to take the chance. She was she did the performance. That's according to the manager for Shana.
All right.
She performed. She got down off the stage because it was getting too muddy. Let me just use the word. And so when she got down to take the money backstage, something happened. Let's listen to the manager.
We went for a show at Kaswa, Liberia, Kambudubram, and on the Saturday, that is 16th January, we were invited there. So we got there around 9. So Shana performed around 2 a.m. That is Sunday. So when Shana got to the stage, what I saw was Shana said he wants somebody to come and dance to the U draws and remove the draws, and I'll give the person $100. So the girl was on the stage naked, dancing to the song U draws. So the girl left the stage, and the crowd was chanting. That is chanting, making noise, a whole lot of noise. So I moved from where the DJ is and rushed to where where Shana is. That's the backstage. And I saw that a lot of motorcycles were rushing towards the hospital. So I asked that, what is happening? And they told me when the girl was dancing to the song and she was going back to the backstage, she slipped on the bed and she fell on electric wires and she got electrified, and the doctors said she's gone.
All right, Mr. Manager, so did she get to receive the $100 from Shana?
No, the guy is gone.
Oh!
I don't know. Yeah, the guy is no more. So who are you going to give the $100? So now the management of Shana are planning different. We can give the money to the family or something like that. They are saying Shana is the cause of the girl's death.
It's a pretty sad story.
Very sad story. And the manager is essentially saying that they are not the cause of the death for the...
But how is it possible? I don't think they can be absolved of blame if there was some naked wire that caused the electrocution.
We're not even sure that is the actual story. So investigations are ongoing, and hopefully we'll bring viewers up to speed on anything happening with the Kaswa slay queen. So Omotola says that she is suing one blog for putting out a story that is not true. So she said that she's actually threatening legal actions against a media outlet for alleging She had an affair with former national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Comrade Adams. Taking to her Instagram, the actress said the blog must be held accountable for telling stories that are not true, especially on a platform as big as that. Quote, I ordinarily don't do this, but after thinking about it thoroughly and seeking advice, I have decided to. So this blog ran the story and people started coming to my page. So Omotola stated that even though the blog claimed it had details to the alleged affair, it has failed to provide such evidence. So basically, easy, that was Omotola's. I think people need to just confirm stories before putting them out there. So we don't do that here on Joynews or my John.
Well, we don't misbehave here.
No, we won't do that.
You can't get away with that. All right. Thank you very much, Becky Bex, for bringing us entertainment. And we're taking a break, but we have more stories coming our way. Do stay tuned in. The Food and Drugs Authority says it has information that some supposed COVID-19 vaccines are in circulation in the West African sub-region and are being sold to unsuspecting persons. The authority is therefore cautioning the citizenry against purchasing such vaccines, since it has not approved any for use in Ghana. The Volta Regional Director of the FDA, Gordon Akrugo, disclosed this at a news conference in Ho on Wednesday.
The authority also wants to sound a warning to all pharmaceutical companies who are peddling around, selling vaccines and claiming it is for COVID. The authority has not yet approved any vaccine for COVID. In due course, plans are far advanced for the authority to give approval to a vaccine that will be used in Ghana. I think we don't have, but like there's a circular on social media people were selling. Also, we have gotten an information from Nigeria, our partners, regulators, that they had information that some group of people have brought a vaccine to Nigeria, which national security shared with us to also monitor at the border. So most of these things are peddling, marketing on social media, that you can get the vaccine, but we also want people to be aware that there's nothing approved for use in Ghana.
You have indicated government is collaborating with the relevant stakeholders to ensure the right vaccine is approved for use in Ghana.
Political issues going on and marketing issues going on with regards to these vaccines. I think most of the vaccines that has to use in Europe and other has been certified by FDA in that country. And they gave emergency approval. I think if you hear something, emergency approval before. And it means that there's also clinical history. They did a clinical trial, but very short and speed one, that enabled the regulator to give the emergency approval. But it is not just a medicine, a vaccine that is for Africa. I think that is just social media information that is going around. But it's a vaccine for use, everybody in the world. And this vaccine will never be approved without the support of WHO. So it will not just be say Africa, we are like that. No. Even at the moment, the storage condition of the vaccine that is being used is a challenge, especially if you want to deploy it to Africa. But I think they are working around to ensure that when it comes, we should be able to contain the storage conditions.
As schools reopening amidst multiplying COVID-19 cases, many children across the East Mampusi municipality of the Northeast region have to choose between getting an education and being safe. Without school infrastructure in their communities, the children are forced to walk several miles to attend school in nearby communities without face masks or any personal protective item in the fight against COVID-19. Joynews' correspondent Ilyasu Tanko observed low adherence to COVID-19 safety protocols in schools and students lying on their bellies to take lessons due to inadequate desks and classrooms.
Day of school reopening, Joynews observed a very low observance of COVID-19 safety protocols in most public schools in the municipality. These children were seen trekking from Yaruyili about 3 kilometers to attend school at Langbinsi. They were all without face masks.
I'm coronavirus. And I'm coronavirus. Nabolenyele.
Anyala duru. Ka face masks ba.
Kala are dinga face mask. Lancha kanka face mask ma.
These children also have been walking from their village of Nayoko almost 5 kilometers to attend Niga Primary School.
Ka face mask ba.
I don't have money.
Face mask. Can no mask.
I left my face mask at home. I was in a hurry, so I left the face mask at home. At the EA Primary School in Nalirgu, these scenes were observed. The children were not only without face masks, but had no desks and were forced to lie on their bellies to take lessons. Some of the children and teachers spoke to Joynews. I don't have one. We need nose masks and chairs. We need hand sanitizer, face masks, and also chairs. We don't have chairs. We sit on this wood to take lessons. At the Baptist Primary School, similar situation was observed.
But if the government will talk to their parents to provide a way for us. We have challenge with chairs. We don't have chairs. Even the upper primary, we don't have chairs. The chairs are not enough for them.
However, the situation was totally different at Nabongo Junior High School, where majority of the school children were on their face masks. There was also a provision for hand washing and sanitizing at the school.
It's all as a result of advocacy. Morning assemblies, we have been talking to the students about the dangers of the COVID-19.
Most of the school teachers told Joynews their headmasters had traveled to the Education Directorate at Kambaga to convey their share of the PPEs, which they said were sent in by government. But all attempts to speak to the municipal education authorities were unsuccessful. Ilyasu Tanko reporting for Joynews.
Now, work on the nearly 50-bed capacity infectious disease treatment center at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital has stalled after workers abandoned the site. Joynews' visit to the premises revealed key electrical work is yet to be concluded as the crew last visited the workplace on the 7th of January. A site foreman told our journalist the plastering and other finishing work has been held up for this reason. The facility was scheduled to be completed 30 days with the work commenced nearly 10 months ago. This has left the 8-bed treatment facility at the nation's premier referral center overburdened as Ghana's COVID-19 cases continue to rise. Host of Prime Morning, Daniel Dazi, was at the construction site and reports.
Soon after Ghana recorded its first few cases of COVID-19, it was announced that a 50-bed infectious diseases facility was being constructed here at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Close to a year after construction began, this facility is yet to be completed. This is contrary to announcements by authorities then that it would take 30 days for this facility to be finished, so it would help in the fight against COVID-19 in the country. As the number of positive cases in Ghana begin to hit 200 per day, the attention of the public has been drawn back to this facility, which is far from complete. So where I'm standing currently is the doorway for the main entrance to the facility. Some of the plastering has been done. You can see there's space there for some of the electronic fittings in there. But you walk inside and you realize that a lot of the plastering has not been done. Now, we've been speaking to some of the workers who are here. They tell us that the crew of workers who were supposed to wire the facility came to work on the 24th, went on break, came back on the 1st of January, went on break, came back on the 7th of January, and that's the last time they reported. It's expected that they will come back to work sometime this week, and after that, after they are done with the wiring, then the plastering for the inside can be completed. There's also the roofing, which has not been completed in the inside. As you can see, the ceilings have not been fitted in. Again, we are being told that the workers who are in charge of this part of the work will do their work by this week so that the construction can continue. The empty spaces also for the doors indicate that there's still some work to be done there. We are being told that the doors are being constructed off-site, and they are waiting for those contractors to also bring in the doors so that they can fit them in. So that was the main entrance, the main arrival hall or the reception. These look like bathrooms to an untrained eye. You see the plumbing fittings in there. There are a number as well here, a number of cubicles in here. You can see this space looks like, you know, a space for sinks. And in there, looks like space for WCs in there, about 4 of them. So, I mean, all in all, this is a facility that when operational should be able to really serve the general public. You can see there, unfortunately, some of these iron rods are rusting. It's been a while since they were planted there, as you can see. So we are looking through to really be able to report to you the extent of work that has been done here at the infectious diseases facility, which is part of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital complex. This is a 50-bed facility which has been on the books for close to a year at least when the construction officially began. When we visited here in March, the field was being cleared for the construction itself to begin. And it was expected that it should be finished in some 30 days or in the shortest possible time. Remember, more than 50,000 positive cases of COVID-19 have been recorded in the country since then. And this is a key weapon in the arsenal of government in the fight against this disease. We are speaking to some of the supervisors for the gang of workers here. They are confident that within a month all of this work can be done. But then again, they are unsure that the requisite funds will be released in time, and also that the workers will return to site so that this facility can quickly come be operational and help in the fight against COVID. As you can see, it's much larger than the current facility, which is seen to COVID-19 patients, which is full. It's an 8-bed facility directly opposite this one, and currently doctors there tell us that it is completely full, and they are currently treating the average of about 20 patients every single day. Most worrying about it is that 2/3 of the number of patients they treat there, according to our sources, are medical personnel, that is doctors and nurses, who are working on the front line in the fight against COVID-19 in the country. Hospital authorities did not speak to us, but we have sources who are telling us that as soon as the doors are done and the wiring is done, this is work that can be completed in the shortest possible time. The question remains about the funding that must be released from the Ministry of Health, which would, of course, be the agency acting on behalf of government to ensure that this work is done in the shortest possible time. They were unable to tell us why the work has delayed from March 2020 till now, where so many lives could have been saved, so many persons could have been treated if this facility was complete. For Joynews, this is Daniel Daze at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
For over a year now, the country has been battling the deadly coronavirus pandemic, which has cost more than 350 lives. The majority of these deaths were said to have been as a result of underlying conditions, especially among the aged. But it seems many young people consider the virus as a preserve for older people. But recent data shows some young people who are without underlying conditions are in critical condition due to the virus. This shocking revelation has left the youth quite disturbed and gripped with fear. Judith Awotwe-Tando has been interacting with some youth about this revelation and has more in this report.
Again, according to statistics from the Ghana Health Service, the considerable number of persons who are severely ill are surprisingly relatively youthful persons with no previous underlying health conditions.
That's the President, Akufo-Addo, during his 22nd address to the nation on the COVID-19 pandemic. The latest deaths from the virus seem to be sending shivers down the spines of many. It has been confirmed that many people in critical condition are young and are without underlying health issues. Meet Lois Bedoin-Kansa, a 21-year-old student of the University of Ghana who was very disturbed about the virus.
So it makes me really worried to leave the comfort of my home, to be in such a big place where I'm at risk all the time, sharing a room with someone in the same dorm, on the same floor. The possibilities are endless with how quickly and how seriously you can get the virus. You can die. Like, it's very mind-boggling.
She admits the hikes in cases should be a big worry to everyone, including young people.
You see, at first, I actually thought that I don't have any underlying problem that could trigger me dying from COVID. But now you don't even need anything to die out of this new virus, this new strain of virus, and it's really scary.
For her, coping with the virus in school has been more than a hurdle.
We can't see the virus, we can't feel it, we can't touch it, but it's there. So you always, like, your life is now pinned to the nose mask, and it's really uncomfortable having to sit with it, studying all night, all day. It's uncomfortable, and all the activities that made school fun have been taken out of the picture all of a sudden, like in a flash. Everything is gone. The drink cups, the social gatherings, like the fun of university life has been cut off so suddenly.
Some others have expressed concern about the way the youth in Ghana have taken the virus for granted. They say they are doing all they can to prevent the deadly virus from shortening their lives.
It has always been scary. We just have to protect ourselves and just follow the protocols. Because as at now, everybody can get in contact. You don't even know who, even the person you're talking to, whether the person is safe or not.
I think in Ghana it's much scary now because you see a lot of people dropping their guards. They are no longer wearing, you sit in the church hall and you see a lot of people no longer wearing their masks and all of that.
It's really, really bad because most of them were thinking that like it only affected the aged, but as it shows right now, that's false. And then I think the youths really need to get educated.
The big call on all is to mask up because COVID-19 is now no more respecter of age. Judith Awotwe-Tando's report for Joynews.
Now, schools typically will have one headmaster, but at Inkekang, DA Primary and JHS in the Awin municipality of the Western North region, there are two, Felicia Techi and the Rain. Mrs. Techi runs the school for some 7 months, after which the Rain takes over for the rest of the year. This is because the school is under a tree, well, under two trees. Correspondent Natalia Kwanza spent a day in the school and has come through with this report, which was recorded before COVID.
My staff and I have met to make some pavilion to help the students, because during rainy season, these students will come to KG class. You have to close. You can't teach anything.
The blackboard is crucified between the two trunks, and the students, over a dozen, have to share their concentration between the teacher and passerby. A teacher told Joynews.
Looking at the nature of the classroom too, we don't have a class, so we are sitting under trees to learn. So that is also another thing. Anything passing by, the people attention will be drawn to that particular thing that is going through.
These peoples are being thought to compete with elite system of education in big cities for a place in secondary schools, for a place in future, a place in a knowledge-based, skills-driven, globalized world. Let's find out how this process of knowledge acquisition is going on. Today, I joined the ICT class. It can easily pass as a kindergarten drawing session. The teacher draws and shades a mouse, challenging the imagination of the pupils to make what they think of it.
This round one is scroll wheel, all of you. Scroll wheel. Scroll wheel. So this is the left click and the right click. Is that okay? Yes. So when you want to do double clicking, you just put your 2 fingers here, like this. You place it back to listen to the sound of what? Of the mouse. So when you do it once, it is a single click in all of you. Single click.
In big cities where electronic waste chokes the environment, these peoples do not even have the benefits of a broken down computer system as an aid. In this farming community, the students know a whole, but a CPU may be too much to ask.
We should have gathered the material to let them feel it, that this is what a mouse, this is what a screen, this is what a keyboard. But here's the case, we don't have the materials here. So it's just that I'm just demonstrating it on the board for them to know how to. So whenever they meet it somewhere, they will be able to identify that this is what the teacher was talking about.
I feel sad, a class 4 pupil who spoke to Joynews. He put his English sentence together carefully, even cautiously, until a few stuttering. He decides his local language will help him make his points faster and better.
I feel sad. I come from Masenko, but I came to school at here. School need the chance in Passe. Say so to nso ni egu class mu a yenya baby ntina ponsu ya de ena class 4 me class 4 nso ya te duana se.
A few meters away, a school block set ingloriously in rooms. Roof is irredeemably perforated to live up to its task of shielding the peoples from bad weather. The once cemented floors are now dugouts and receptacles for small pools when it rains. Crevices in the walls are home for geckos, insects, and the doorway has no door.
There is KG 1 and 2. Yesterday we are here, we saw a scorpion came to our class, and even look at the board.
In Athalia Kwanza, Joynews, Western North Region.
And we're taking a break. We're bringing you more business. Do stay tuned in.
Hello there, welcome to Business. I'm Charles Aitib. The Controller and Accountant General's Department has begun a process to equip accountants in the country with new trends. The 11-week virtual training program is part of the new financial management system, which has been approved by Parliament for preparing financial statements and accounts. Acting Controller and Accountant General believes the certification program will improve productivity in the public sector.
The training on international public sector accounting standards seeks to enhance efficiency in public financial management. About 5,000 controllers and accountants are expected to benefit from this certificate program, which will run in collaboration with the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana. Acting Controller and Accountant General Kwesi Kwenin Bosompem said this will give international recognition to participants as well as boost productivity in the public sector.
And is going to equip our people to do what they have been mandated to do. Accountants are mandated to report on their activities, i.e. presenting financial statement, a financial statement that could be that one can interpret and then make decision out of it. So if you produce a statement which has no meaning, which has no foundation, which has no basis of the standards that is being applied, then of course that statement is meaningless. And that is the reason why we want to empower every controller staff to be able to prepare and produce a credible account based on these standards.
President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, Professor William Atwelik, is optimistic of a more efficient public sector financial accounting system. He has assured that global standards of financial accounts will be churned out henceforth.
High quality information, credible enough to inform decision making. And so the benefit is that quality information for quality decisioning. So the people of Ghana should be better off knowing exactly what happened, because the financials will be based on global standards.
The program will be implemented on an e-learning platform to be provided by PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Now, the director at the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Korte, says the tourism and agro-processing sectors have a great potential to reduce youth unemployment in Ghana. Here's more from a workshop he addressed.
The dissemination workshop on industries without smokestacks in Africa by the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research in partnership with the Brookings Institute of the United States seeks to provide insight into options towards addressing Africa's youth unemployment challenges through the creation of large-scale unemployment opportunities in industries without smokestacks to drive Africa's industrialization agenda. Director of ESE, Professor Peter Korte, says Ghana must redirect attention towards identifying and supporting sectors with more significant employment potential.
So the idea is basically some of this labor-intensive, identify some of the labor-intensive industries, find out what they are doing, what their potentials are, and how we can enhance their potential. So basically, the study focused on agro-processing and tourism, and that is where they collected data, and analyzed, and very interesting findings were made. One is that these industries have potential for generating employment, for reducing youth unemployment. And then there's also the issue about the skills gap. There's a high skills gap which has to be addressed, and one will be for the industries to engage with training institutions, be it industrial attachment, etc., so that by the time they graduate, they will be ready for the market. They should also get involved in the curriculum development.
Also, Professor Korte urged the government to reduce the cost of credit and help solve the lack of access to credit facilities and other constraints identified in the tourism and agro-processing firms to help deal with rising youth unemployment.
Taxes and then also credit. Taxation issues have always been a problem. The AGI reports always highlights tax issues, that firms have challenged with taxes. Sometimes not even the amount, but the process of paying your taxes is a problem. Where you have to travel, you have to spend sometimes a whole day to go and queue and pay for your taxes, whereas in other jurisdictions, you can just go online, assess your tax, and even pay using digital means. Yes, same with credit. Access to credit for some of these firms is a problem because the cost of credit is high. It's quite recently that it's come below 20% thereabout, but it's around 32%. I mean, what kind of business can you do that you'll be able to recover your costs and then also pay 32% on it as well, and so on and so forth. But then luckily these days, we've had other schemes that are supporting agro-processing. So,
according to the research, a new growth trajectory has emerged in the region with services as the driver of growth, contrary to the expectations of manufacturing export-led transformation, with the capacity to absorb low to medium-skilled workers as previously observed in East Asia and other newly industrialized countries. Nicholas Brown's report for Joy Business.
Well, retailers of surgical masks in the Ashanti regional capital of Kumasi are raising concern about the increase in the wholesale price of the product. The jump in prices follows the president's renewed call for the enforcement of the mandatory wearing of nose masks to help curb the spread of COVID-19. A box of 50 surgical masks, which used to sell at around 25 cedis, has now shot up to 30 cedis. The traders say that increasing the price of a nose mask will affect patronage and their profit. Anita Sewa Ajoga interacted with some of them and has come through with this report.
It's true, the wholesale price of nose mask has increased. We used to buy it at a price of 25 cedis, but it's now sold at 30 cedis. This has affected our profits.
And so now Otono 30, Nakatara 7 cities, obey your 13. Some emphasis swat bebre. For
now, we can't increase the price.
I no cross ya tutu. This year na ya fano at the same 200 Ghana cedi, but this year I can't say 25 Ghana cedi, but this year I 30.
He said, we don't know why the prices have increased. Some people sell it at a price of 30 to 40 cedis.
Rabani is 7 cities. Rabani there. And to move my na maximum. And to Muaba. In your big raton, Cabay, the Yabin town. Uncolano Coscunos account, Yamaka Siano, and one motor, and one wonderful, Yamaka Siano Swapeja, and also 30 city woman.
We are not making good profits due to the increase of the price of nose mask.
Well, next to the University of Ghana were some students there who were not able to secure a place in the various halls of residence are having to pay outrageous sums for accommodation around the university. Managers of hostel facilities are charging between 1,200 cedis and even that of 1,500 cedis for a room shared by 4 people. My colleague Nicholas Brown spoke with some of these students on Lagos campus and has come through with this report.
Yeah, 4 in a room.
4 in a room?
Yes, please.
So each of you is paying 1,200?
Yes.
How do you feel about it?
Oh. They have been saying that, like, renting a hostel around campus is costly. So, like, I take it to be a normal thing, but, like, I seem to be a cheat, you know. Yeah.
Why do you think it's a cheat?
Oh, how can 4 people in a room pay 1,200 each? You know, making 4,800. It's not easy. Like, if it were to be like, it may be 3,000, that one is manageable, you know.
Interesting. Like, now, this private hostel that you found outside campus, how much is it costing you?
It's 1,500 for 4 in a room.
1,500 for 4 in a room?
Yes.
And a semester. All right, so how many weeks in a semester?
We are doing only 6 weeks. The level 100 students are doing only 6 weeks. Yes.
Interesting. So you are 4 in a room and you are paying for 1,500 each person?
Yes, per semester, yes.
So how do you feel about this pricing thing? How do you feel about the price?
It's expensive though, but we have to take it like that. Because if you don't take it, where will you stay?
I believe you're also in this hostel. What level are you in?
Level 100.
Okay. So why didn't you get any of the hostels or, you know, accommodations, halls on campus, and you decided to come to this private hostel?
Yeah, my admission came in late, so by then all the halls on campus were full. So I had to get an accommodation outside campus. That's the reason why I came here. So a friend recommended this place to me, and I came and I did mine.
So how much are you paying for a semester?
We are paying 1,200.
1,200 for how many weeks?
For 9 weeks.
Okay, so 1,200 per person in a room. How many of you are in a room?
We are 4 in a room. 4 in a room? Yes, please.
So, interesting. 4 in a room and you are paying 1,200 each?
Yes, please.
Wow. How do you feel about this?
I think it's some kind of a cheat because you see 4 in a room paying 1,200 for just 9 weeks is some kind of, it's not good at all.
So do you feel you are being exploited or whatsoever?
Of course, yes.
So how much are you paying here?
1,500 for a semester.
For a semester, 1,500. And how many of you are in a room?
4 in a room.
So each of you, you know, is paying 1,500 for how many weeks in a semester?
Actually, it was 4 months. That's equivalent to 12 weeks in a semester. But because of the double track and the COVID, we are running 9 weeks. That's equivalent to 3 months in a semester. Yes.
So, how do you feel about the price, paying 1,500 for just 9 weeks?
I feel those managers and hostel managers are exploiting us, but we just have to take it like that because I stay at Kaswa, and the distance every day, the transportation will cost much than if I come here. So I feel it's okay, but then on the other hand, they are exploiting us, but we have no other option.
Interesting development there from our tertiary institutions. We shall be following up shortly for updates in the future. But that's it for business.
And that'll be all for the bulletin. I'm Israelite. Thank you very much for watching.